walks onto stage. Good whatever, lady and gentlemen. Having watched Vertigo a few times, I thought I would try a director's cut. Alfred Hitchcock was a master director. My alterations to the story are light and follow on from the Vertigo film review. In addition, a focus on Gavin Elster's ghost story helps explain the ghost story within a ghost story. Pauses. Remember? Spoilers. Ahead. Smirks. Let us skip through the Vertigo story like an impatient Gen Alpha watching a TikTok. Dropping in the edits that would clarify the story a little. Scotty has a close call with death, which forces him to retire from the police force. Pauses. 12 months later. Pauses. Scotty sets eyes on Madeline and falls in love with her after preventing a suicide attempt. Pauses. Only to witness her suicide and blaming himself for her death. Pauses. If only he did not have vertigo. Pauses. He might have prevented her death. Her being Madeline, wife of Gavin Elster. What a strange headstone. Rolls eyes. It is after the burial of Madeline that Scotty has his nightmare and subsequent meltdown. Pauses. 12 months later. Pauses. Other than the lack of time markers, the film is best left as it is. At this point in the story, over the bonnet of Gavin Elster's car, Scotty is informed that Gavin Elster is dead, having drowned in a boating accident. Smirks. The Vertigo story continues as before, with Scotty having learnt of his chum's death. Scotty spots Judy, a dead ringer for Madeline. Pauses. And follows her back to her hotel and forces himself into her life. Rolls eyes. Judy still writes the letter, though the remembering of what really happened is saved until the final scene. The remembering and the writing of the letter is overkill. Smirks. Judy is confronted by Scotty, and as part of her confession. Pauses. The truth of what happened is revealed to the audience, visually, as if it were fact. These subtle touches add to the punctuation of the story, rather than the flow. I would have Scotty take his second chance, rather than allow Judy fall, due to fright. With the ending being, Scotty and Judy in an embrace, and Scotty telling her, "I love you. I will never let you fall again." Smirks. Vertigo is a ghost story, with a ghost story. Carlota Valdez is the ghost who Gavin Elster states possesses Madeline, his wife, played by Judy, who Scotty resurrects in his obsession with his love of Madeline, as played by Judy. Pauses. Judy plays the part of Madeline to test Scotty and cure him of his vertigo. As discussed in the Vertigo film review. The commenter on the Blu-ray suggests Judy is an evil murderess. How can this be? The only intent Judy reveals is her love for Scotty. Or at the very least, the need to be loved. Judy plays her role as a suicidal Madeline flawlessly. Pauses. But it was Gavin Elster who had evil intent, and was no doubt a psycho and serial killer. Pauses. Gavin Elster fed Scotty the ghost story of Carlota Valdez, telling Scotty that Madeline was no longer his wife. Which was true, or at least, the Madeline he had Scotty follow was not his wife. Smirks. Poplarville, the owner of the Argosy bookstore, corroborates what Gavin Elster suggested, adding extra detail, making the ghost story more believable in the sense of Madeline's loss of sanity. Pauses. However, Gavin Elster tells Scotty Madeline knows nothing of Carlota Valdez. Not even that the MC Kittrick Hotel was Carlota Valdez's former home, implying that his wife visits these places while being possessed by the spirit of Carlota Valdez. Pauses. In Scotty's nightmare, following the burial of Madeline, he sees Carlota Valdez with Gavin Elster, as if she were his wife. Pauses. Oddly, the dream setting is the same setting as the coroner's inquest. What does it all mean? Pauses. For me, Carlota Valdez's ghost takes revenge on Gavin Elster and Judy after he murders all her heirs. Pauses. To understand Gavin Elster's ghost story, one must focus on Scotty's interaction with Gavin Elster. Pauses.
You got in the shipbuilding business, Gavin?
I married into it.
Very interesting business.
No, to be honest, I find it dull.
Well, you don't have to do it for a living.
No, but one assumes responsibilities. My wife's family is all gone. Someone has to look after her interests. Her father's partner runs the company yard in the East, Baltimore. So I decided, as long as I had to work at it, I'd come back here. I've always liked it here.
How long have you been back?
Almost a year.
You like it, huh?
Well, San Francisco's changed. The things that spell San Francisco to me are disappearing fast.
Like all these.
Yes, I should have liked to have lived here then. Color, excitement, power, freedom. Shouldn't you be sitting down?
No? No, I'm all right.
I was sorry to read about that thing in the paper. And you've quit the force. Is it a permanent physical disability?
No. No. It just means that I can't climb stairs that are too steep or go to high places, like the bar at the top of the Mark. But there are plenty of street-level bars in this town.
Would you like a drink now?
No, I don't think so. No, it's a little early in the day for me. Well, I guess that just about covers everything, doesn't it? I never married. I don't see much of the old college gang. I'm a retired detective, and you're in the shipbuilding business. Now, what's in your mind, Gavin?
I asked you to come up here, Scotty, knowing that you'd quit detective work. But I wondered whether you'd go back on the job as a special favor to me. I want you to follow my wife. No, it's not that. We're very happily married.
Well, then,
I'm afraid some harm may come to her.
from whom?
Someone dead. Scotty, do you believe that someone out of the past, someone dead, can enter and take possession of a living being?
No.
If I told you that I believe this has happened to my wife, what would you say?
Well, I'd say take her to the nearest psychiatrist, or psychologist, or neurologist, or or maybe just the plain family doctor. I'd have him check on you, too.
Then you're of no use to me. I'm sorry I wasted your time. Thanks for coming in, Scotty.
Okay. I didn't mean to be that rough.
No, it sounds idiotic, I know. And you're still the hard-headed Scot, aren't you? Always were. You think I'm making it up?
No.
I'm not making it up. I wouldn't know how. She'll be talking to me about something. Suddenly, the words fade into silence. A cloud comes into her eyes, and they go blank. She's somewhere else, away from me, someone I don't know. I call to her. She doesn't even hear me. Then, with a long sigh, she's back. Looks at me brightly. Doesn't even know she's been away. Can't tell me where or when.
Well, how often does this happen?
More and more in the past few weeks. And she wanders. God knows where she wanders. I followed her one day. Watched her coming out of the apartment. Someone I didn't know. She even walked a different way. Got into her car and drove out to Golden Gate Park. 5 miles. Sat by the lake, staring across the water at the pillars that stand on the far shore. You know, portals of the past. Sat there a long time without moving. I had to leave, get back to the office. When I got home that evening, I asked her what she'd done all day. She said she'd driven out to Golden Gate Park and sat by the lake, that's all.
Well?
Speedometer on her car showed that she'd driven 94 miles. Where did she go? I've got to know, Scotty, where she goes and what she does before I get involved with doctors.
Well, have you talked to the doctors at all about that?
Yes, but carefully. I want to know more before committing her to that kind of care. Scotty.
All right, I'll get you a firm of private eyes follower for you. They're dependable, good boys.
I want you.
Look, this isn't my line.
Scotty, I need a friend. Someone I can trust. I'm in a panic about this.
I'm supposed to be retired. I don't want to get mixed up in this darn thing.
Look, we're going to an opening of the opera tonight. We're dining at Ernie's first. You can see her there.
Ernie's.
Pauses. There are things you didn't tell me. I didn't know where she was going to lead you. Pauses. My wife, Madeleine, has several pieces of jewelry that belonged to Carlotta. She inherited them. Never wore them, they were too old-fashioned. Until now. Now, when she is alone, she gets them out and looks at them, handles them gently, curiously. Puts them on and stares at herself in the mirror and goes into that other world. Pauses. The child who was taken from her, whose loss drove Carlotta mad and drove her to her death, was Madeleine's great-grandmother. Pauses. Madeleine doesn't know about her background. She never heard of Carlotta Valdez. Pauses. Madeleine's mother told me most of the details before she died. I dug out the rest for myself, here. Her grandmother went insane and took her own life. And the blood is in Madeleine. Pauses. I need this. Scotty takes everything Gavin Elster tells him, at face value. Pauses. The obsession Scotty has for Madeleine, after her death, is understandable. Following a breakup, or death, of a romantic partner, it is normal for facial recognition to gravitate towards reminiscence. Especially when in familiar surroundings. Pauses. Scotty has an itch, which can never be scratched. Even at Ernie's. Pauses. And definitely not at the Palace of the Legion of Honor. Art Gallery. Rolls eyes. The passion of the fleeting romance between Madeleine and Scotty consumes him because of its urgency and Madeleine's fatalistic suicidal tendencies. Scotty is confused by Madeleine's return of affection. This is the one flaw in Judy's Madeleine. In her confession letter, Judy stated, "I made the mistake. I fell in love. That wasn't part of the plan." And just before Madeleine's murder, she tells Scotty, "It's not fair, it's too late. It wasn't supposed to happen this way. It shouldn't have happened." Pauses. He, Gavin Elster, chose me to play the part because I looked like her. He dressed me up like her. When Scotty resurrects Judy's Madeleine, he returns to that day, in his mind. Pauses. Scotty kisses Judy, the same way he kissed Judy's Madeleine. Pauses. Which transports Judy back to being Madeleine. Pauses. Hitchcock uses another cinematic trick, transporting the couple back to the livery at the Mission San Juan Bautista. Pauses. For the couple, it is the kissing that binds them emotionally. After Judy's confession in the tower, it is Judy who kisses Scotty. Scotty accepts her, and in that moment, has a fresh opportunity. Sighs. If only Madeleine had kept her eyes shut, the nun kept her ears shut, and Scotty kept his mouth shut, all would have been fine. Rolls eyes. Peace, I am out of here, word up. Exits stage left.